Today we are talking about my travel CPAP. Why I finally bought one, how I actually pack it, what I love, what is different from my home machine, and whether I believe it was worth the splurge. Welcome to T's World. Because this little machine eliminated more travel shenanigans than I expected. At home I use my full-size CPAP and it works well for me. But taking it on trips meant dealing with the machine, the hose, the mask, the cords, supplies, and sometimes the still water. Now, CPAP equipment may be allowed as medical equipment and may not count as luggage, but that doesn't mean it's magically carries itself. It's still one more bag, one more strap, one more thing to pick up. And when you already have a suitcase, a purse, and maybe another personal item, that CPAP bag still hanging there saying, "Baby, don't leave me." Free from the luggage count does not mean free from carrying. I had looked at travel machines before, and they are very expensive. And I kept asking myself, why do I need another CPAP? The one at home works perfectly well. But eventually I realized I was not buying it because my home machine had failed. I was buying convenience. I was buying less equipment to manage. I was buying one less bag hanging on my shoulder. And because I travel by car, train, plane, and sometimes ship, this was not a problem that happened every 5 years. It happened repeatedly. So I finally splurged. And now that I have traveled with it, I understand exactly what I paid for. This is the part I love the most. I do not use a separate bag for my travel CPAP. I tuck the pieces in the little corners and spaces around my carry-on. The machine fits perfectly there. The hose curves around the outside, and I protect the mask so that it doesn't get crushed or dirty. I'm basically packing the CPAP around the things I was already taking instead of adding another piece of luggage. And because I have not unpacked from this trip, this is not some pretty little YouTube demonstration. Baby, I haven't even unpacked yet. So let me show you exactly how I travel with my CPAP. I always keep it on the left side of my suitcase. Here it is, right here in the corner. I just put it in either one of these corners, and then I put my hose. It just goes around the perimeter of the suitcase. No more extra bag. When I say it gave me one less bag, I mean exactly that. One less thing on my shoulder, one less item to count, one less piece to place in the overhead bin. One of the biggest advantages is something I didn't fully appreciate until I began traveling with it. My travel CPAP does not require water. Let's set up. Distilled water became another part of the travel plan. Do I pack it? Do I stop at a store? Will I need to buy it after boarding the ship? At a regular store, it may cost me around $3 for distilled water. On the ship, I have paid $5. Now, $5 is not going to bankrupt me, baby, but it's still another purchase. Another item to find. I did not pay cruise money to spend my first evening hunting for CPAP water. With this travel machine, I set it up, everything, and go to sleep. No water taking up luggage space. And here's another issue with traveling by plane. In my experience, I have been allowed to take distilled water through TSA because it's some medical equipment. But allowed does not always mean quick. Even when I have TSA pre-check, my bag has been pulled because of the water. The agent has to inspect it and run it through a machine before clearing it. So now I am standing there watching my bag and watching the clock, thinking, baby, this little bottle of water better not be the reason I missed this flight. If you ride with plenty of time, it is an inconvenience. But if traffic was bad, the airport shuttle took forever, or you are already cutting the clock, then you're running to the gate, and nobody over 60 planned to do an airport track and field. With my travel CPAP, I do not need the water at all. So for me, that means no bottle being pulled. Now I want to be honest. Smaller does not automatically mean identical. My travel CPAP does not feel exactly like my full-size machine. Depending on the machine, there may be differences involving sound, humidification, the way the air flows. My full-size machine is still my home machine. The travel CPAP is my convenience machine. It solves a specific problem, helping me continue my therapy while making the actual travel easier. And because CPAP treatment is medical care, make sure the machine and settings are appropriate for you. My doctor calibrated my machine. I am sharing my personal experience, not prescribing a machine for somebody else. Test it before traveling. Do not buy a travel CPAP and wait until you are in a hotel, a cruise cabin, or a guest room to use it for the first time. Try it at home, baby. Connect the hose en masse. Learn where every piece goes. Sleep with it for several nights. Pay attention to the sound, the comfort, and how the air feels. You want to discover any missing adapter or unfamiliar sound while you are still at home, not at 11:30 p.m. at night in a hotel room holding 3 little pieces, asking, now where does this little elbow go? Everything becomes more dramatic when you're tired, baby. Testing it at home gives you time to decide whether the setup actually works for you before it becomes your only option on a trip. I think a travel CPAP makes the most sense for someone who travels frequently, wants fewer separate items to carry, does not want to pack or purchase distilled water, moves between several locations during a trip, values convenience enough to justify the extra cost. It may not make financial sense for somebody who travels once every few years and does not mind bringing their regular CPAP with them. The real question is not, is a travel CPAP nice to have? The better question is, does it solve a problem that happens often enough in my life to justify what it costs? For me, it did. Before buying, look at the complete setup, not just the small machine shown in the advertisement. Check whether your preferred mask is compatible, whether you need a special hose or adapter, how humidification works. Make your decision based on the complete system, not merely how cute and teeny the machine looks online. Not because everyone who uses CPAP automatically needs 2 machines, and not because my home CPAP stopped working. I would buy it again because it solved several repeated problems for me. It gave me one less bag to carry. It fit into unused corners in my carry-on. It does not require me to pack, find, or purchase distilled water. It made traveling by car, plane, train, and ship easier. At this stage of my life, convenience matters. I want to protect my health, but I also want to enjoy the journey. Now tell me in the comments, do you travel with your regular CPAP, or have you considered buying a travel machine? And what creates the most trouble for you? The extra bag? The water? Getting through the airport? Subscribe for more honest travel after 60 reviews, practical solutions, and real next chapter conversations. Because sometimes the next chapter is deep and emotional, and sometimes it begins with deciding you are no longer carrying that extra bag, baby. Next chapter with T. There's room with you here, baby.